Back in 1977, I convinced my boss, at the time I was working as a buyer for the Team Electronics chain, which was headquartered here in Minneapolis, convinced him to let me go to the first annual West Coast Computer Fair. Out there I discovered a number of companies. I'd gone to look at the processor Sol machine. I was already aware of the Altair. Discovered a little company called Apple who had a pretty good sized booth right inside the front door. Struck up a conversation with a gentleman who told me that they really weren't producing yet. It would probably be later that year, October or something like that. The gentleman seemed quite knowledgeable, and once he found out that I was a buyer for a chain of electronic stores, was very interested, and it turned out the person I was talking to was Mike Markkula. Mike proceeded to talk to us about the program. Over the coming months, we put together agreements and whatnot, and in the end, he grabbed one of the first machines to come off the line, put it in a bag, jumped on an airplane, and brought it to Minneapolis. This was that machine. And you'll notice that the bag does not have a bite out of the apple. I don't know if that was a mistake on the part of the people who produced it, or more likely that it was produced early on before Apple decided taking the bite out of the apple would make it more registerable, if that's a word. And this is the original brochure that came with the Apple II, or for the Apple II. It's very simple, it has an apple on the cover. And if you'll notice on the wall beside us, there is a photo that looks suspiciously familiar. That is one of 3 photos that was ever produced in photo form. I was given one for Christmas by Mike Markkula. I'm told that their banker at the Bank of America got one, and that there was a third one at Apple. And to my knowledge, there are probably only 1 or 2 in existence any longer today. You'll notice many of the things here on the original brochure. One was that they came with cassette tapes to load the programs. For a long time, we sold Apple cassette tape machines to sell with the machine because they couldn't get them otherwise. Remember, the computer was fairly expensive. In fact, I happen to have an October 1977 price list. And a computer system with 16K of RAM, which was what we typically sold it at, was $1,698. Now, you can have a good chuckle today. 16K was $540. So to outfit a machine completely would take you up to about $40,000. These are the pieces of software that were available originally with it. There was a checkbook, home management cassette. There was the Breakout game, which was a little bit like Pong, a Star Trek game, and high-res graphics routines. And that was what you could get with it at this point in time. That was every piece of software Apple had.
And then this is the real deal.
This is the real deal. It's a used computer. It was actually used, but here's the key. There's the serial number. And as you can see, this was serial number 5, 5th machine to ever come down the line, assuming they put stickers on 1 through 4. This machine was in regular use probably up until well, it was in regular use past the introduction of the Macintosh, so probably up until 1984, 86 or 87, this machine was in regular use. That's what you came all this way to see.
So basically, you had this before anybody else did.
Yes, I guess I have to say I identified the potential of the product. We were the first dealer/distributor that Apple ever had. I wrote Apple's first distributor agreement, which was liberally inspired by a Pioneer car stereo agreement. Went through and defined the terms and what would be done and sent it back, and Apple had their lawyers take a look at it, and we signed it, and we were the first ever Apple dealer